There are only two types of speakers in this world. One, the nervous, and two, the liars. Mark Twain said and wrote many clever things, but that statement could not be truer. In fact, isn't that why you clicked on this video? Or maybe you fell down one of those addictively intriguing YouTube rabbit holes that just so happened to spit you out in a surprisingly beneficial destination. Either way, welcome to Presenting Perfectly, a series of videos about presentations and public speaking. Now folks, the moment we've been waiting for, the delivery. Believe it or not, the fear of public speaking, or glossophobia, is one of the most commonly reported phobias among Americans. In fact, about 70% of people suffer from speech anxiety. Needless to say, this widespread uneasiness makes an impressive presentation and comfortable speakers a rare find. There are all sorts of mistakes that even some of the most experienced speakers still make. Obviously, solid preparation is what we preach the most, but there are countless tips and tricks to delivering an impeccable presentation. First, get excited. If you're not pumped about your subject, then why would your audience be? The moment you take the stage or your spot next to the projector, you are a performer. Enthusiasm is contagious, so inject some passion into your presentation. The more excited you are, the more the audience will pay attention. Second, be entertaining. Whether your content is dead serious or about the science of laughter, your delivery should be entertaining and informative. In person, people expect your personality to shine through and for you to appeal to their emotions. Let your raw uniqueness show and incorporate humor and levity wherever possible. Here's a no-brainer. Speak up. Yes, you might be wearing a lav mic or holding a handheld or standing at a podium. However, it's still very important to speak up and project your voice. Standing up straight, enunciating and projecting your voice will not only make your audio guy's job much easier, but it will help to simultaneously radiate a sense of confidence to your audience. Next, no phrases. Let's get this out of the way, shall we? Try to avoid the dreaded, so, right? You know, etc. These phrases can only take away from a presentation, and they're commonly used because a speaker is trying to navigate where they're going next, or they're looking for approval from their audience. This is where confidence comes back into play. You have the stage, and you are the expert, so speak with purpose, direction, and certainty. Also, avoid starting a topic with, just real quick, or briefly. Whatever follows these phrases will seem unimportant to your audience in comparison to the rest of your talk, and therefore a waste of their attention span. I see you. We've all heard the nerve-calming trick, picture your audience naked. But how about instead, picture something you actually want to see? Be sure to make eye contact with your audience and not just the decision makers in the front row. Moving your gaze throughout the crowd engages the audience and makes them feel more involved in your presentation. Please, 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 don't read your slides. Don't turn your back on the audience to check or read your slides. Your slides should support your dialogue and not display it. If you're ready to read to the audience, you're almost guaranteed to lose their attention. It shows that you don't fully know or understand your message. And if you're just turning around to see if you're on the right slide, that's when you need a confidence monitor. Find out ahead of time whether or not one will be provided for you and avoid the constant head swivel. Posture and poise. Although we don't recommend planning your movements and gestures, we do recommend that they be purposeful and not fidgety. In front of an audience, people tend to release nervous energy by pacing, swaying, bobbing up and down on their heels, fidgeting with the mic or a piece of clothing, and countless other creative diversions. Be aware of the space that you have available to you. Stand up straight and move purposefully. It's a good idea to work with the crew ahead of time and see which parts of the stage are available to you and where you should avoid standing. Keep moving forward. This seems like a no-brainer, but try to avoid jumping back and forth throughout your slides. Preparation really comes into play here. Be sure that if you need to refer back to a slide discussed previously in your talk, that you just duplicate it and place it where it belongs. Jumping around will not only look disorganized and confuse the audience, but it also puts the presenter at risk for losing his or her place. Purposeful pauses. Pausing before or after making a significant point can really grasp the audience's attention, and it emphasizes the importance of the point. Making a pause long enough to appear purposeful is the key. A nervous or inexperienced speaker will unintentionally fill dead air with dialogue, regardless of the quality, while confident speakers are comfortable with silence. In a world filled with technology, a long pause is also a great way to regain your audience's attention. These pauses can also couple as a perfect time to gather your thoughts. Don't forget to slow down. Those nasty nerves and adrenaline pumping through your veins can turn a well-thought-out speech into a blur. So take your time. Slow down. More experienced speakers tend to speak at a conversational pace, while nervous speakers just want their time in the spotlight to be over. No one likes excuses. Starting with an excuse, unless it's an apology for being late, will quickly set the bar low for your presentation. Insecure, unsure, and unprepared speakers will occasionally apologize for their faults, such as, "I'm not very good at this," or "I didn't have much time to prepare." These phrases will not help you gain any sympathy from your audience. Practice and prepare. Do what you can so that way you don't feel the need to apologize. Repetition is key. Due to our goldfish-sized attention spans, your audience will likely only retain a portion of what you say. However, if you make it a point to repeat and reinforce key points, they have a better chance of leaving the room with a cohesive understanding of your message. Did I mention repeat? Repeat. Short and sweet. Always run short. Many events fall victim to presenters taking more than their allotted time, attendees not returning to the room on time, and the whole schedule taking a hit as a result. As a rule of thumb, keep your talk short and sweet. If you have 40 minutes to fill, take 30. Always respect your audience's time and the event organizer's timeline. As an added bonus, it forces you to fine-tune your presentation as well as allow time for questions. Now for the technical tips. When it comes to audio, it's best not to mess with the mic. The only exception being for a podium mic. We do recommend that you adjust the podium mic up or down so that way it's closer to your mouth. However, lavs and headsets are usually put on and adjusted by the audio guy, whose job it is to know what the best placement is to get the best sound. Handheld mics you obviously have to handle, but don't mess with the buttons. When you're handed a handheld mic, it should be ready to go when you're ready to speak. Also, make sure that you hold the handheld close enough to your mouth. Don't eat it, spit onto it, or breathe into it, but make sure that it's close enough to capture your voice clearly. Every presentation is unique, some with slides, intermittent video, audio cues, and/or visuals. And if you're depending on the production crew to play a specific piece of media at a specific time, it's best to communicate this to them ahead of time. Then, when you're on stage, cue your video or your visual with a phrase such as, "Let's take a look," and physically motion towards the screen. This way, both you and your crew can feel confident that your content will be played in the right place at the right time. Last but certainly not least, respect is earned, not given. And so is your audience's attention. It's not the audience's job to listen, but it is your job to make them want to. Your goal should be to make your presentation so interesting, so entertaining, and so inspiring that people can't help but pay attention. Always remember, they might forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Now get out there and break a leg. Do you still have questions? Or maybe you just want a professional on your side to help guide you, your team, and your event towards success. If so, give us a call. We would love to talk.